Peanuts. Peanuts. Hello, friends. Welcome. Welcome to what has to be the worst live stream on YouTube. The worst live stream with the best production, I feel, because at least I go through a modicum of effort when it comes to the camera quality, the stream assets, right? You got stream assets here. Look at this one.
Bing bong.
This is a new one here. Right, join Discord call. I just added that one. And then look at this. Look at this for production value. You ready for this? Watch this. Look. So I was telling that she shouldn't talk to me that way anymore. Actually, I should move my mouth. I was telling that I really shouldn't have her be in my life anymore. I was in the hood and I saw a bunch of and I locked my doors. You like that one? You like that one? So I'm adding production value. There's always a lot of production value here when it comes to the stream. Don't say the audio is coming out of only left headphones. Don't tell me that. That means that I have to fix my audio here. I really hope that that's not the case. You know what the problem is when it comes to doing live streams and things like this? I do one thing and it changes absolutely everything, right? So I changed one thing, one component, and then suddenly now everything is fucked. So hold up, let me go here. Is that really the case? Could you only hear it on one side? I hate that my text here on my laptop is very small, so I really can't see it. I know what to do to change it, but I forgot where to go to actually fix it. I know that it's in the audio settings, and I have to change it to a double channel instead of a single channel as to what it is now. But is it actually coming out of one? Don't troll me right now. The reason the stream started late is because I had lunch with a friend of mine, and I had a couple brewskis. So your boy's not in the most optimal state when it comes to his troubleshooting problems. But I could do this live. The only problem is that I have to actually go to the settings. And Windows 11, the way it works now, is that they want to make everything like Apple. Right? They want to make everything Apple. So they want to make everything look nice, but be more complicated to find. Okay, so I found this. Okay, so if I go to the audio settings that are right, but I can't see that far. The headphones are just fucked. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to go fix it. And you could also peep my pants while I go fix it. Look at this. Look at the pants, by the way. I'm going to go fix it on my laptop and make sure that you could hear me on both. But look at the pants. Look at these pants. Right? You like them? I like them. They're pretty nice. I just got them from PacSun. I've realized that PacSun is my favorite place when it comes to pants. They fit me, which is hard to find. Usually when it comes to pants, my size is that of a child. So hold up. So I could fix this. Default format. How come I can't change it? I'm trying to change the microphone, and it's not letting me change the microphone. I know how to fix it. I have to go to here, and I have to go to analog. Okay, now I could do it. I could fix it. I'm going to go to, instead of two channels, I'm going to go to one channel. Is it good? Can you hear it now? That fixed it. Let's go back to OBS. So hopefully that fixed it to make it go to both sides. So right now you should be hearing me stereo. Unless you trolled me, of which case I'm going to be very upset if you were trolling me. Only left phone for your voice. Maybe my headphones are just fucked. No, see, I fixed it. I should have fixed it, right? It's now one audio, whatever the fuck, one channel, which is a life hack that I found. Unfortunately, when it comes to this, whenever I disconnect my audio source and reconnect it, it decides to go haywire and come out of one of your headphones. So you only hear me coming out of one side, which I don't like. I prefer you guys hear me on both sides, like surround sound piggy. But let me go to my show notes here, because believe it or not, I do have show notes. But I went to a restaurant, one of my favorite restaurants here in the 305. They have Cuban food. But the problem with the restaurant is that it's hipster. It's a hipster vibe. It's like it's Cuban food, but not by actual Cubans. By Cubans that have been raised their entire life here in Miami, as opposed to people that have been raised in Cuba, which is where I prefer that. I prefer that style of food. So this is kind of hipster sort of vibe. It's a nice place. And then we decided to go to a brewery, which if you guys are fans of the live stream, you would know that I detest breweries. I hate them. I think that they're all garbage. They're always in the same place. Breweries are always in warehouses where a forklift wouldn't look out of place. You would look at a forklift and you would think, whoa, this seems like it would match the environment because of the fact that there's also wood paneling on the walls. No care for a decoration. But then that's the vibe. The vibe of a brewery is no. This is the aesthetic. The aesthetic is that you're the inside of a warehouse. I don't like that shit. I don't like that. I don't like any of that. I don't like being in one of them. I also don't like that they have a limited selection of alcohol. So the brewery that I went to actually is different in that they actually serve liquor. They serve whiskey and vodka and all this other stuff. When it comes to usual breweries, it's always the same shit. It's always the same bullshit, which is, oh, whoa, here's a whiskey that we made out of fucking Captain Crunch. Sorry, here's a beer that we made out of Captain Crunch. You could taste the notes of Captain Crunch in it. It's actually really good. And you combine that with things like, I don't know, like lemon. And we call this beer Two Girls, One Cup. You get it? Like the viral video from 2008. I hate it. So I hate breweries. They're always the worst thing in the planet. Fun fact, this girl on this green screen ad has been missing for 20 years. I don't know what you're talking about, but I do hate YouTube ads. I do hate YouTube ads as I've seen them as of late. They're pretty cancerous. Usually the one is of a person of color telling you that you shouldn't vape. Those are my least favorite. And my least, actually, let me look it up. Let me look it up and show you guys if you haven't seen it already. I'm sure you have, but it's the worst ad that I've ever seen for multiple purposes, right? The first and foremost purpose before you continue to YouTube. I have to accept all the cookies so YouTube knows exactly what I'm doing, even if I have my fucking computer off. Thank you for that, YouTube. And I have to agree to it because if not, I can't use YouTube. But here, let me see if I could find this vaping ad. This is my least favorite thing to see on YouTube because this guy, they paid a lot of money. They paid a lot of money for this ad to show up on every single YouTube video that you watch of a well-groomed black man with a leather jacket in some sort of fucking warehouse. Maybe the same warehouse they shot Footloose. And he goes, vaping could put toxic metal in your lungs. That's metal in your lungs. That's the ad. It lasts 6 seconds. And yet, if you think about it, think about the amount of work that went into a stupid ad like that. Mind you, funded by the same cigarette company that gave us such wonderful hits, such as lung cancer. Philip Morris is the one that usually is behind those. But I hate the ad, and I fucking hate that I can't see it. But it's a 7-second ad. And what I hate the most about it is that the amount of effort that they put through it. If you think about it, there's lighting, there's audio, there's a department for clothing, right? The guy's trimmed, so they had to have a barber on set. They have to have a camera guy. They have to have a director. They have to have a producer. All that for a 7-second ad of a dude telling you that vaping may or may not put metals in your lung, which is up to debate, by the way. That's up to debate. I can't find it. I can't find the actual ad. So if anybody actually knows the ad, well then, if you could find it, you could link it on Discord, which is, oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. That was the beep. My bad. You could link it on Discord. So if you look at the description section below, you could actually find the Discord link to my Discord, which is, by the way, dead. My Discord is dead, but I do use it for these live streams if you want to call in. So if you want to call in to the show and, I don't know, mention something as to one of the topics that we talk about, then you're more than welcome to do so on Discord. Not R. Kelly says, it might taste good, you salty Cubano. Do you know who pays for anti-vaping commercials? Big Tobacco. It's hilarious. Yes, it is Big Tobacco, Philip Morris, as I mentioned, because in a subtle way, they're not allowed to actually advertise. So by advertising anti-vaping, they're advertising pro-cigarette. And they're actually mentioning vaping in the ad. So it's making you think, oh, vaping. So I'm going to go vape. So essentially the ads that are telling you not to vape are ads that are reminding you that vaping exists and therefore increasing the likelihood of you vaping. So it works backwards. It's kind of clever, but they can't advertise technically anymore to make you smoke cigarettes. So that's the way that they do it. Mm. So the 6-second ad is better produced than your video, says RB. Yes, unfortunately, it is better produced than my videos because there's a whole team of cunts, of probably Los Angeles cunts that are dedicated to making that a thing. So you have to have the audio guy. For sure, there's a boom guy. There's a guy for a wardrobe. There's a guy for trimming and a guy for making sure the guy has appearance. And it's all for a 6-second ad of stupidity, telling you not to vape. Oh, toxic metal in your lungs. So I hate that ad. And every time I see it, I want to find the ad agency and call them the R word, as people on Instagram like to call it, as opposed to the word retarded. I side with people like Tom Segura when it comes to using things like the R word. It still puts the word in your mind. You're still thinking of the word. If I say the R word, you're not thinking the R word. You're thinking of the word retarded. So it might as well be saying it. And then if you find the word retarded so offensive, in the same way, would you not find the word stupid offensive? Not COVID. Would you find the word dumb offensive? Would you find the word idiotic offensive? Because they all mean technically the same shit, right? They could be all used to describe the same thing. So why not care about those? Oh, but you care about the word retarded. Okay. But stupid's okay. That's a weird semantic rule. Is it because you vape? Says RB. I do recall one instance in a bar where I did have a vape, right? It was a no nicotine vape, so it was just strictly for the flavor, which makes it a little bit worse, to be honest. And I was in a bar that I like to go to, and I was hitting it. And I hit it. And mind you, the smell was really nice. It was called Heisenberg, and it smelled like blueberries, right? So the smell is a lot better than the taste of it. It tasted only like a small fraction of what it would produce in terms of scent. But the lady next to me was a 50-year-old cunt of a woman. And mind you, I know I'm a cunt because I was vaping indoors, but they allow it. They allow it at this sort of bar. And she was like, as if I was gassing her, as if it was literally poison gas. Like, it smells tremendous. And I wasn't doing it anywhere near you, you exaggerating bitch. Like, it was that sort of vibe. But I do get it. Yes, it was kind of obnoxious, and I do regret it. And I wouldn't vape indoors because just have a cigarette if you're gonna allow vaping indoors. But you don't need to go overboard and fucking blow it off like I'm blowing literal what's it called, tear gas in your face. So it was her fault too. RB. Let's see. Now, R. Kelly says Biden is trying to control big tobacco by making them limit nicotine content until it's non-addictive. Well, I do recall. Oh my God! I don't know why I'm coughing. It's not definitely not COVID. I could tell you that. But I do recall that there was a push to ban flavored cigars. Which, let me tell you, my friend, if there was an actual ban on flavored cigars, you would know it because I wouldn't be here. I would be picketing. You would see me on the news. I would be protesting. I would be burning police precincts in Portland, Oregon. I'd be doing that in protest if you decide to take away flavored cigars. And the logic was, oh, flavored cigars cater towards kids. I have never once seen any person buy any cigar product that was flavored for the intent of smoking it. They buy it for the wrapper. They buy it so they could take out the guts and put weed in it. That's the way it works. They don't just buy it because it's flavored. They'll buy a non-flavored one more often than not. The shittiest ones, they don't have the most taste. But unfortunately, they were pushing that, and they didn't do it, which I'm very glad because I love flavored cigars. I'm that guy in cigar bars that the cigar smokers hate because I'm smoking a flavored cigar, something like a Trader Jack, which I'm looking at right now. I like the lineage. I like the line from Drew Estates of Desert Rose, I believe is the name of it. It's one of my favorite cigars. Dirty Jane or something like that. I remember that's the name. It's Leather Rose. That's the name of it. It's my favorite cigar. RB says they should ban all cigars. I disagree, and I would fight you to the death. I would fight you to the death defending any banning of cigars. of all types. So even if you banned flavored cigars, I would probably end up protesting heavily in Portland, Oregon, just randomly. I think I lost my voice. They banned flavored cigars here in Canada. Well, that's because your prime minister is a male model. So your prime minister is a male model, and your prime minister is a so he is unfortunately probably going to think the same thing of, oh, if we ban flavored cigars, it's going to be less likely that children smoke cigars. That's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. If they want to get them, they're going to get them. So it doesn't matter that you're banning flavored cigars. Who else said something here? Should cigarettes be banned? I'm biased, obviously. I've smoked cigarettes once in my life at a festival, maybe a year and a half ago. I talked about it on live stream, and I thought it was the biggest, most pointless thing in the planet. Cigarettes are terrible. Yeah, oh my God, you could inhale it. It's garbage. It's garbage. It tastes like shit. It doesn't make you feel anything. If anything, it made me more depressed. It made me very depressed smoking cigarettes. I smoked maybe 7 in the festival, and I said, nope, I'm good. Cigars forever. Cigars from now on. And cigars you don't inhale. They're just for flavor. But you do get a nicotine from the wrapper and the leaf. So I do prefer cigars. Should we ban cigarettes? No, we shouldn't ban cigarettes. I'm kind of one of these that I'm like, no, we should have everything. Everything should be allowed, because then it's self-policing. Oh, you like meth? Okay, you're not going to last very long. Oh, you like coke? Well, let's see how long you could keep that up, right? So it's self-policing. RB says that's a COVID cough. Source, I just had COVID. That would mean I would have caught COVID 3 times, and I think that would be illegal. I think at that point, if I would catch COVID 3 times, that would technically be illegal. So I don't think this is COVID. It's a shitty cough. That's what it is. It's a beer cough. We'll call it a beer cough. Again, I went to a brewery a couple hours ago, and I had 2 beers, and I made the mistake of panicking because they didn't have the type of beer that I liked. Usually I like to get sours because I'm kind of, let's see if I could do this. Oh, wrong one. I usually get sour beers because they didn't have the sour. So I ended up just panicking and picking something at random, and I got a pale ale. Not an India Pale Ale, an IPA. I just got a Pale Ale, a PA, which still tastes like soap. It tastes like soap. Anybody that likes IPAs, and I don't know what you do with your life, that you enjoy soap water, because it's the equivalent of going to your local grocery store, grabbing an industrial vat of Dawn dish soap and putting it inside of water. So I think you don't like it. That's my hypothesis, is that you actually don't like it. Do we have a call here? We actually do have a call here. Somebody that's in the chat. I hate how fucking small it is. But we do have somebody here. I'm going to bring them along. Usually, the rule is you get 1 and done. That's the rule. You get 1. So you get 1 query, 1 question, 1 thing, and we move along. Let me actually make sure that the audio is going to work on Discord, which I have to fucking squint, because the text, it wouldn't have worked. So had I not checked, it wouldn't have worked. So I'm glad I checked. Which one is Focusrite? Okay, now it should work. Let me drink a little bit of water here. But we do have the phone lines open, my friends. We do have the phone lines open. So if you want to come in and maybe have a query, have a question, have something that you're thinking of, something that you want to bring up, well then might as well do so. But it's 1, and then I'm kicking you out, because if not, then we talk for way too long, and it becomes hey, listen to PigCake, talk to someone show. So let's see how this works. I'm gonna join the super secret voice chat. I just did that. Oh, here's the worst part too. I'm in a VPN. Fuck. My VPN is on. I should have turned my VPN off. Hopefully that doesn't affect anything. But let's see what it is. I can't even read the name because I'm that blind. But we'll just go for it here. Hey. Hey there.
Hey, good evening. So I guess I'll do my 1 and done.
Ooh, hold up. Let's just talk about the accent for a little bit. The accent is quite powerful. I like it. Where are you from?
Have a guess.
Well, okay, here's the thing, right? Because you guys, and I say you people, and I mean that in the racist way, you could be from Wales, you could be from England, you could be from another part, and you have a distinction between those places. So where are you from in particular?
I'm from one of those countries.
You're from one of
I
those
want you
countries.
to tell me which one.
I'm gonna guess England just because it's bigger.
You would be correct.
Okay, there you go. I just get because
You
Wales
would
is
be
like the
correct.
Portugal. Wales is like Portugal to Spain. It's just like a fart on the side. I prefer it to Spain, but same thing with Wales. Like Wales is kind of like the stepbrother you don't want to talk about.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for my brother because his girlfriend for 2 years is half Welsh, and it's
Mm.
yeah.
Mm.
The less said about that, the better. To be honest.
Is she hot at least?
Yeah, she's really nice as well. She's a lovely person. She's just been her blood is tainted by her
Okay.
ancestry. Is all.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what. But what I when I went over there a while ago for the Magic convention, it was Blackpool, which Blackpool might as well be downtown Beirut. In that it's not even it shouldn't be part of England. It should be its own separate country. Not even part of the UK. It should be part of I don't know Middle East or Asia or something.
Yeah, thankfully I've never been to. I mean, I want to go to Blackpool one day, but I've never had the misfortune of having to roam the streets there,
I thought
as
you were
I've
gonna.
seen many times.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say the privilege. It's definitely not a privilege. It's more of a compromise. It's a
The funny thing with
compromise.
Blackpool is that it's known for its beaches and its pier, so everyone goes there to enjoy the sun and what have you. But
That's
it's all the way up north, and you don't go to the. I mean, you do go to the beach up north, but that's where it's really rainy and depressing. So it's kind
yeah.
of paradoxical that people would want to spend their, summer holidays there, of all places.
That's the worst. That's the worst. I realize that. The beach, you have to look over like a border. You have to look over some sort of fencing in order to see the beach. And then the worst part about it is, at least I went in February, so it was cold as shit. But I believe who told me here? Somebody in the chat told me that it's Stu Batman maybe told me that it was the murder capital of the North in England.
That doesn't surprise me.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. That I think the northwest. I mean, I could be very wrong. I'm from the south, so I don't know too much. But as a
Okay.
southerner, I hear all these scary stories about the north. But if you told me that, then yeah. But the thing is with Wales, though, you said Wales. It is
Yeah.
actually a really nice country because the thing in the UK is that all the different nationalities like to roast each other. But Wales and Scotland, I haven't been to Ireland, so I can't say. But they're all really, really beautiful countries. And here's a fun fact actually about the two countries. They can vote on English laws, but England can't vote on Welsh and Scottish laws.
That's interesting. That's interesting because it's technically like the US in that okay, you guys are all part of the same island, so you guys should contribute to the same thing even though technically you're all different countries. But let's be honest, are you really? Are you really a bunch of different countries?
I think it's one of those things where, yes, but a lot of people think of themselves, well, not a lot of people. So if you're, say, born and bred Welsh, you might think of yourself as Welsh and then British, but you're
Mhm.
still British. You just put one before the other. If you ask me, I don't really think of myself as. I mean, I know I am English, but I don't
Okay.
consider myself English then British because I'm not too patriotic. In a way, we use the same currency. The laws are very similar, but
Mhm.
then when it was COVID, for example, there were different COVID laws. So if you went in England, you might have to do one protocol. Then you go over to the border in Wales, and even though it's still the United Kingdom, you would still have to abide by this and that. And it was also different for Scotland and Northern Ireland
Okay.
as well.
Yeah,
So
that's
these little
odd.
nuances. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Well, Hane here in the chat says at least Wales doesn't have mass shootings, which is a stereotype of the United States that we have to
Mm.
have bulletproof vests and the like in order to partake in schooling, which is again not real. That's not real. We don't have to wear bulletproof vests anymore. Okay, that was a thing, but we don't have to do that anymore. But what's your thing? What's your query?
I was going to say earlier on the topic of cigarettes
Mhm.
and banning them, that in the UK, I believe they're going to introduce something which I think is already done in New Zealand, where they're making the legal age that you have to buy cigarettes increase by 1 year
Mhm.
every year. So that's say in the year 2042, you wouldn't be 18, you'd have to be 38 because that's 20 years in the future. And the
What?
idea is that eventually you'll be so old, you have to be 80 years old in the far future to buy cigarettes, and that will phase out cigarette consumption,
Oh,
which
that's
I
the
actually think
worst.
is quite a nice thing. But I'm interested to hear your point of view.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible, I gotta say. Just because I don't like cigarettes, as I mentioned before, I was bitching and moaning about how bad they are. But I don't want to impede on your ability to smoke a what do you guys call them? You guys call cigarettes a different word?
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't say it, but
Okay,
well,
so yeah, I was trying to bait you there.
well, the thing is, I mean, if you said that in the UK,
Uh
a
huh.
UK person would immediately know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
But on the chats where people are from different parts of the world, they
yeah.
may get misconstrued.
Well, in the
But they can do,
U.S., they would know immediately what you're talking about as well in the U.S.
yeah, but not in the nice way.
Not
In
in a
the in
nice
the
way.
very
Yeah, in a very rude way. But no, that's terrible. I think that you should be able to smoke. Um, Now the thing about smokers is that they're very oddly friendly. So when it comes to like cigarette smokers, they'll have conversation with you. I find that I usually have a lighter on me, and they'll oh hey, and then we'll have a whole conversation about stuff while they're smoking outside. So they tend to be the friendlier ones in the bar environments that I like to frequent. So that's kind of shitty. I don't know to tell them like, hey, no, you can't have cigarettes because we're trying to prolong, your lifespan. But it's like that's not really the problem. More people die from drunk driving, from overdose of drugs. I don't know how it is in UK, but at least here, my goodness, the amount of overdose we have on drugs is absurd.
interesting. Okay, so you're suggesting that they should target other drugs instead of cigarettes.
Yeah, cigarettes is like a placeholder, really. It's like you're targeting cigarettes. You're not really hitting the root of the problem. But again, what I was saying earlier, which is kind of a morbid way of seeing it, is it's self-policing, right? So if you kind of say, all right, we're gonna put everything to be okay, and everything to be right and dandy, eventually the people that partake in the heavier ones are just gonna phase away naturally. It's a Darwin effect.
No, that's true. I suppose you could say that. I think it's partly because, as I mean, this. I guess this comes on the point of, as a government, do you have the
Hmm.
responsibility to try and, have the health of the people in mind? And
Hmm.
if you're a government, you're not trying to, you know, prioritize or make awareness of one's health. Are you doing
Hmm.
your job correctly? But I do find it funny because in the UK, we have the NHS, so it's healthcare that's paid for by the taxpayer,
Hmm.
available to everybody. And I do find it funny in that in the UK, the government makes a lot of money on taxing cigarettes, but they also fund the NHS, which promotes quitting
Yeah,
smoking. So
that's
it's
wild.
like they're campaigning for their own, financial loss. However, I do think it's probably a good thing. So what about this though? If you think that's a bad thing for doing it on cigarettes because they should do it on other drugs, actually no, never mind. Actually no, yeah. What about something? Actually no, never mind. No.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was,
I
I
mean,
was going to say, should they like do the same thing with other drugs, but you can't just buy heroin in the shop, can you?
no, but I know that places like Colorado are becoming a little bit more liberal when it comes to certain drugs that would otherwise be considered. Because here it's in a class system, so they're like class A drugs or class whatever the fuck drugs, where they quantify it as like for example, weed. For a long time here was considered like felonious, where if you had even a little bit of weed, you could pretty much go to jail for a long time. And now it's becoming more passive, and that's because they could tax it. So really, it's not a question of caring. It's as much as them having control over it and being able to tax it. So the problem with being at least having my solution, which is make everything legal, is that you're not going to have an easy way to universally tax everything. So they'll never do that. They rather just make it legal, at least in my opinion.
Okay,
But
no, that's a fair argument. That's cool.
cigarettes is kind of, it's like you're chipping away at a small problem. That's what I would feel. You're chipping away at a small problem, and yes, it does contribute to lung cancer, but there are other more significant drugs that cause fucking more substantial damage than that. So it is kind of unfortunate. And then
Could
is it
you,
going to
could
spend
you,
to
could
something
you
like
not
cigars?
argue? Could you not argue that cigarettes are consumed by more people? So whilst other drugs may be more harmful, there's
Hmm.
fewer people doing those drugs. So maybe it's better to tackle more people who are going to have a health risk than fewer people having a
Hmm.
larger health risk. I don't know. I'm just
It
playing
could be,
devil's
yeah, it
advocate.
could be. It could be that could very well be it. But would you, do you think that it would be, it's so popular that it would now have a black market for cigarettes like marijuana?
Yeah, and you'll probably get, if that thing I mentioned goes forward, where you
Hmm.
have to get older and older to buy cigarettes, it might be that 18-year-olds will get their 40-year-old relatives, to go and buy cigarettes one day, and it could create something like that.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, I wonder if people. I mean, I've actually never smoked, so I don't know.
Hmm.
But I wonder if cigarettes give you that much of a buzz or that much of a high that it would be, you know,
Worth it.
dealt on the black market like that. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. What's happening now here is that marijuana is becoming legalized more and more so, especially medical marijuana. But people are still going to the avenues of getting it illegally because it's better weed. I don't smoke weed, but from what I've been told, is that when you buy like the official legitimate weed that's been sanctioned and you could buy it, it's shitty and it's more expensive. So it's better to buy it from somebody that you have before, like a standard drug dealer, because you're getting better quality weed for a lot less money, which is hysterical to me because it's like also official proper weed is shitty, but you could still get good quality weed in the traditional means of back alleys and whatnot. So it's kind of odd. Um, but no, I get your point. I get your point. And what sucks is that you're never gonna find us as humans. We value stupid stuff to the point where we're willing to consume things that kill us, like liquor and cigarettes, just because it makes us feel good temporarily. So
Yeah.
cigarettes, they provide nicotine to your brain in under 7 seconds, and nicotine is the same way as caffeine in that it's a stimulant, and we crave that. We're like, oh, we want to be stimulated, and when you combine it with something like liquor, which goes hand in hand with it, your need for the consumption of cigarettes gets fucking exacerbated. So it's kind of a funny thing, but again, uh, I think if the government's really trying to intervene and trying to look out for the better of its population, cigarettes is such a small issue. Even though it is consumed by a larger portion of the population, I just don't think it's going to provide as much of a dent as they think.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I guess time will tell
Yeah,
in
we'll
the
see.
future.
We'll see. But you'll know if they do the same thing here because you'll see me on the news. You'll see me as local failed YouTuber protesting outside of Capitol building with a large cigarette shaped penis sign.
You're going to be the new Florida man meme.
I'm gonna be the new. Yeah, you've seen the one with the guy holding the sign like above his head saying like, oh, whatever the fuck, and that guy has now become super popular just because he held a sign at a protest once. I don't know if you're familiar with this meme.
No, and I'm not. I'm aware of Florida man, but not that specific one.
Oh, Florida. Okay, sorry. The Florida man meme. Yeah, the Florida man meme is anything that's ridiculous could be attributed to some aspect of Florida culture. But we're not that bad. We're not that bad, believe it or not, in South Florida.
Well, it's good talking to you, Piggy. I should probably go, but
There you go.
thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. One and done. Good convo here, and good to have you on. Thank you for joining, bro.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
You too. Look at that. So polite. Unbelievable. I always forget what it's like to speak to people of polite culture, right? Like people from England and other places. For example, here on the way back from the bar, I had about 3 separate incidents that I was screaming at the car either next to me or in front of me because they decided to cut me off without using a signal, and I started screaming at them. And then I could see them through the window, like kind of giving me a sign because they were upset that I was screaming at them, even though they did something illegal. So you talk to somebody who has it was very polite and talkative, and it's different. It's different than what I'm used to. Let's look at I do have some topics here, by the way, believe it or not. So this isn't just a rambling stream. One thing that I want to talk about is I almost got scammed again. So if you guys watch these streams frequently, I hope this one turns that off. You would know that I talk a lot about Arabs in my neighborhood that are attempting to scam me in various means, and unfortunately, my goal is to steal their gold. Again, not to go over the exact incidents that took place before, but these individuals stopped me while I'm walking. Usually I like to walk a lot every day, and these individuals would see me and they go, "Hey, do you speak English? Great. I see you're a fellow Arab," because they see the necklace and they see the face and they go, "Ha, you're one of us. I need gas money, and I'm going to give you my ring and my necklace. I just need some cash. So could you hook it up? We could drive you to an ATM." And that's the scam, essentially. They give you fake gold, and you are left with essentially a ring and a necklace that's worthless, and they get money. That's the scam. It almost happened to me again. And my goal is to get their ring. I want to take their ring, and I want to keep it as a token. And I will never wear it because they're always shit rings. But if I put it on, it means that I got it from them. It means that I beat them. It means that somehow I was able to either steal the ring. And unfortunately, they caught me when I had some groceries in my hand, and I didn't have the ability to grab the ring and take it. So they stopped me. I see the guy. He goes, "Hey, you speak English?" And I see his very attractive wife, by the way, a very attractive partner in the seat next to him. And I see him, and I see the ring, and I see the necklace, and I go, "No, thank you, buddy." But only because I was holding groceries. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to bait them again, and hopefully not be holding groceries, because I really want that fucking ring. And I've been shown ads about that ring on Instagram, and it's not really a good ring, but it's a token. It's a token of ownership over these fucking Arabs trying to scam me. My own people. Imagine that. My own people trying to scam me. I'm kind of taken aback. I thought that they would have tried to get me to join their ranks. I might just buy a ring from them. Next time they come around, I might just tell them, "Hey, listen. Okay, look, I know what you're doing. I have $5 here. Okay, just here's $5. Give me the ring. I know the ring cost you 50 cents. So here's $5. You've made $4.50. Just give me the ring." But would that be the same as taking it from them and running? I don't think so. I think taking it from running, I would have earned it. Whereas this is not really earning it. So I don't know. I have to think about it. Maybe you guys have a different opinion on it. Let's read through the chat here. I'm sorry, guys. I was in a conversation. When the Scottish voted not to separate. Oh, remember when the Scottish voted not to separate, says RB. I don't. Typically, I don't like to partake in overseas news. I like to be full of my own country's shit and only partake in the news that takes place within the confines of the United States. That's my ignorance, and I like to stick that way. Hane says Wales is beautiful. I'm sure it is. Wales has mass shootings, as I read before. You're just jealous we're not born in a top-tier best play. I can tell you're from Wales, all right? Obviously, I'm speaking facetiously, if that's the right way of saying it. I don't know anything about Wales because I haven't been there. But maybe my opinion could be changed when I go to Wales. Maybe it could be reinforced when I go to Wales. So right now, I'm just talking directly out of my asshole, Hane. 3 times. Are you through, boy? What country am I from? One and done, says RB. Really, RB dropping the bangers here. I don't like that you're being funnier than me right now. Stu Batman says there's so many better places that they could hold magic conventions in UK, but Blackpool is massive for magic shows. Yes, but I do think that their attempt to stick to tradition, right? Oh, we've always done it in Blackpool, is a little bit retarded. You could do it in better places in England, I believe. Animated Art says, I would love to hear your rant about Dan Rhodes and Henry Harris's beef. That's really virgin-y. I only saw a little bit of the video from our boy Craig Petty, the Petty Man. I love Craig. I met him in England for the first time. I was fanboying. I had a better experience meeting him than I did meeting Dave Penn, which is kind of odd because Dave Penn I've been a huge fan of for many years, and I do give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, Dave Penn just fell down a set of stairs when I was in Blackpool, and he was on medication, so he has an excuse for not being as excited. But hey, I'm a big fan. But Craig, I had a nice little conversation with. We chatted. I also saw him at McDonald's, and we chatted again. And he's just a great dude. Just such a fucking dedicated man, and I love it that he's so passionate about magic. Whether or not you agree with him, you have to at least appreciate his passion for magic, and that's something that is rare because usually a lot of magicians are stuck in their ego. Now, I do disagree with Craig with some of his points and some of his takes on the magic community. and I don't make that hidden or anything. I do disagree with a lot of some of his points, not a lot of his points, but some of his points. But I love the guy, and I did see a little bit of that video. But from my understanding, the beef is that Dan Rhodes, who another person I saw in England, along with other TikTok influencers, I saw a couple of them, and it's funny seeing them in person. Right, it's funny seeing them in person. Dan Rhodes, I don't think he knew me. I did run into the other guy. There's another guy that I've put on some videos that he has a lot of rings. He's also a young dude, but he shook my hand. Hey, PigCake, good to see you. I'm like, hey man, I see your shit. Good to see you. And I saw that guy. I saw another person in England, kind of an Indian dude that looks like me. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, but I think he watched my video on him and he didn't like me because every time I would be in his same space, I saw that he left. I saw that he would go out of his way to kind of walk away. And he kind of looks like me, which is kind of funny. We have the same hairline. And I remember making fun of his videos because I said that his videos are designed for people with certain intellectual disabilities. So maybe he has good reason to not like me. But from my understanding, Dan Rhodes exposed something of Henry Harrius on TikTok. Now, the thing about that, right, and the thing about, and I hate to be virgin-y, I like to keep these shows to general stuff, right, but magic obviously comes in every once in a while. Now, the thing about that in particular is that there are two ways of seeing it. And I don't think Dan Rhodes is seeing magic from a magician's perspective. I think that Dan Rhodes comes in and he sees it from the perspective of social media. So in his world, whenever he shows someone a trick or whenever he kind of exposes something on TikTok or Instagram or whatever the fuck, he's seeing it from the perspective of, I'm doing it as an influencer. I'm doing it as somebody who's trying to get views and clicks and trying to make my reputation through this. Whereas obviously Henry Harrius is someone that's in the magic community through and through. He's someone that releases products. He's a magician, right? He's in the magic community. And whether or not he decides to put stuff on social media, he's doing it as a magician. He's not doing it from the perspective of an influencer. An influencer that is doing magic tricks does not give a fraction of a fuck about crediting, does not give a little bit of a fuck about things like exposure, because they don't understand that in magic, even though there doesn't exist intellectual property laws, there exists this kind of rule of morality, right? Of you're not supposed to show things that are being sold. You're not supposed to expose things publicly that are part of somebody else's what somebody else is selling. Essentially, that's shitty. Now, somebody might also make the argument, retardedly, that YouTube tutorials are exposure, and YouTube tutorials are the same thing as what Dan Rhodes is doing. And I'll argue with you because you're wrong and dumb and stupid. But when it comes to that, legally and technically, Dan Rhodes is doing nothing wrong, right? Because he's just doing it as content. There's no laws protecting the secret of magic tricks. You could technically buy a trick and put it on YouTube and Instagram and show exactly how it's done, and there's no protection for the other individual. Now, what you're doing is you're burning bridges, right? People are going to see that and be like, oh, that's shitty, and they're going to be less inclined to work with you. But obviously in magic, we know that's not what you do, especially if you want to be a part of the community, if you want to keep adding stuff, if you want to actually be part of the magic community. I don't think Dan Rhodes cares. I think that he just cares about the social media aspect of it. And technically, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, as a magician, yeah, there is something wrong with that because that's kind of shitty. It's kind of shitty because it's easy to do it that way. It's easy to have mindless dribble content, the Julius Dean content. That's another can of worms, where what you're doing is you're making videos that you could watch without audio. You're making videos that you don't need to pay attention to watch, that require nothing. No semblance of logic. It's videos that you're watching while you're taking a shit. Right? So it's not really content that's meaningful in any way. It is easily digestible. It is very easily digestible, and I'll give them that. But magic is not even the 10th care of these videos. Magic's not even the thing that's at the forefront of these videos. What's at the forefront of these videos is making something with a hook that's going to make people watch it till the end and maybe watch it again. So the fact that he's doing a trick is incidental. He could be blowing someone, or simulating a fellatio on a cucumber, and it wouldn't matter. So the trick just happens to be the vehicle that he's choosing. So I think that he doesn't really care about the magic as much as he cares about the content. 99.9% of YouTube tends to credit the creator or have permission. TikTokers don't. Well, it's not even that, because it's not even about crediting. Is that it's the intent, right? The intent is, I think, what matters. And the intent of, for example, my videos, whenever I show something, is to magicians. It's the fucking magicians. You're never going to have a layperson. Look at my last video. The last video that I did to the success, massive success, over 200 views. Literally the Titanic is what I'm on right now. But it's for magicians. It's for magicians to look at and share and like. No layperson is going to look at that video or go through it. Even if you show a layperson that video, they're not going to watch the fucking video. They're going to go, oh, this is too much work. Fuck it. It's a tutorial meant to teach you how to do a production and another production. That's it. So it's with TikTok, the intent is, here is a video that's going to engage your attention. Oh, how am I doing it? I'm showing you a magic trick. That's the hook. The hook could be very well anything else. It doesn't matter what the hook is to people that are influencers. Not to magicians, it matters because that's what they care about. That's what they care about. So that's that virginity rant done. I apologize, but it's two different perspectives. I could see both. I obviously side with the magician more than anything. I side with the magician take on it because it's what I do. But at the same time, I understand where the TikTok person is coming from. Now, is it cringy? Yeah. Is it, okay, hold up. I hope that this is the, fuck. Is it, yeah. Yeah, it is. But at the same time, it's from the perspective of somebody who's trying to be an influencer, not somebody who's trying to improve magic. So it's two different perspectives. It reminds me of Russian Genius, right? Russian Genius back in the day. I remember that he had a little kerfluffle with Xavier, as a matter of fact, Xavier Spade. And funnily enough, the issue was that he was teaching slip shift. That slip shift move. He was teaching it on his channel, and Xavier had beef with him because he was saying that's not your fucking move. You shouldn't teach it. And Vladimir's logic, Russian Genius, his logic was, but I didn't learn it from him. I learned it from watching Alex Pandrea do it in a YouTube video where he did it from a bad angle, and I could see how he did it. So what's wrong with me showing what Alex Pandrea did? And I'm like, well, he's technically not wrong. I mean, the move it's created by a certain person, and he is selling it, so it is shitty. But at the same time, I could see it from Russian Genius's perspective, which is, this is something, I'm coming at this as an influencer, as a YouTuber, and then a magician. I'm just happening to use magic as the vehicle to try to get me attention on YouTube. So that's kind of that, but a different way. I got some shit, by the way, from Amazon, which just came in here, which you can't see on the table. Actually, you can't see it on the table. It's right here. I like to have pig related stuff. I just got an iPhone for the first time in I believe 10 years, and I also got AirPods. So this is a pig case for my AirPods. I feel like a whore with these on. There's something about an iPhone that makes me feel a little bit more, I don't want to say effeminate, but makes me feel a little bit more in tune with my feminine side. And this right here is a pig case. It matches my pig wallet, right? As you can see, I have a certain aesthetic. I live the brand, right? So that's my wallet. This is my, sorry, hold up, a fucking Honda Celica from 1990. With a modded engine just drove by. So that's this is one thing I got just because I wanted something to protect my AirPods because I dropped them and I know that I will drop them. And another thing that I got are these two things. Right, these two things. One thing that I always struggle with is notes. I always like to take notes, and I walk frequently, and that's when I come up with ideas for the channel and for Patreon and for the other stuff that I do. So I also like to write them down. And I feel like on a phone, there's a certain sense of immediacy on a phone, and the ideas kind of get withered away. Whether when you're writing it, they last longer. They're more meaningful. So I got these two little things. This is moleskin, and they're pocket-sized notebooks, right? And I want to keep these along for when I'm walking and I have ideas. Now, the worst thing is that I get in a trap of productivity porn, right? Where I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy these notebooks and then I'm going to write in them. And then I never write in them because they're too nice. But not this time. I'm committing myself. And these are two little notebooks that allow me to do just that. And the worst part is I have these, but I lost them, unfortunately. So I found them relatively cheap. And that's one thing. And the other one is a pocket pencil. I know, sorry, pen. Pocket pen, which sounds like an oxymoron. 45. But this one is a small pen that I could keep in my pocket, and it's not really going to be intrusive. So that's the other one. Does it expand? No. So it's unfortunately very small. Look at this. I could do one of these with that. So these are two things that I want to carry on me. And notes, I'm militant. I'm almost Nazi when it comes to notes and writing down ideas. And hopefully something like this is going to keep me more to wanting to have those ideas turn into something. Because I have a lot of ideas that just turn into shit. And I think that turning into, is this analog? Turning it analog is a good way of making your notes more meaningful and not just shit that you have on your phone. I watch porn on my phone. I don't want to put important notes on my phone because then I'm going to associate it with the disgusting porn that I watch. The CBT porn. That's cockball torture. For those of you guys that are not familiar with that. That's a running joke, but how long is that going to be a running joke until it becomes reality? So that's what I got from Amazon. Fairly cheap, little things, but I think they're going to improve certain ideas that I have. So I just want to share that with you guys and see if that could maybe provide some sort of benefit to you. No Name says magicians who can't get views performing, they just reveal magic and they get all the attention. But magicians who perform to real people are usually ignored. Magic community is toxic. Yes and no, I disagree. I think that both of those types of channels get equal attention in terms of views and interactions and content. It just depends on the nature of it. Unfortunately, I've on my side of things, right, I tend to have a little bit more edgy content, which tends to steer 99% of magicians away. And I keep getting reminded of this fact every time I look through something like Facebook and I look through something like the Magic Cafe. And I see how they're talking to each other and I see what they're talking about. And I go, yeah, I could see why my style of content is alienating towards these people, because most of these people are garbage. Most of these people are garbage. They're garbage. So, unfortunately. So I've set myself up for failure. But I do think that both of those have the same possibility of getting success, which is a lot. Performance videos on YouTube do very well. People like to see reactions, as do sort of tutorials. They do get some good views. It just depends on hitting that wave, hitting that nice view wave on YouTube, which is very hard when I make dick jokes. And a lot of magicians consider me a racist, which is untrue. Xavier sold Hook for 100 and then dropped it to 25. So I sided with Russian Genius. That made me never buy anything from Lost Art ever again. Well, I don't really want to talk about things that aren't my business, but I was talking to Xavier a lot when he was releasing that product, and there was certain conflicts that were taking place and certain things behind the scenes, which is what made that be such a high price. I enjoyed mine. Obviously, I got it for free 95. So I got mine without paying the premium for it. I do think that the effect is worth the price. I do think that what you got was definitely not worth it, but the effect was worth that price of Hook and what it is and what you could do with it as a trick. I saw what it was originally. Originally, it was a little bit more complex than what it was produced, what was produced. But I know Xavier definitely wanted to be a little bit more lenient with the price on that, and there were certain issues that happened, and that was what made it be such a higher end product and more substantially priced product, right? I would have ideally liked it to have been a smaller price. I think that it would have probably made up for the price in terms of volume. But I understand what was going on behind the scenes. I don't want to say much more on that, but I do recall there being some problems with that and certain, you know, creative differences and things going back and forth during that time. But I could see how certain people were upset that you had this product that was sold at this price point and then very shortly after dropped to a smaller price. Maybe his rap career took off. Talking about Russian Genius. I did too. I found him before I found Xavier Spade or Alex Pandrea, as did a lot. I was talking to, funnily enough, I was talking to not fucking Antonio on a chat recently, and where he was like, "Oh shit, man! If you told me a couple years ago that I'd be on a talking right now to PigCake, I would have lost my mind." And he was telling me that he used to watch Russian Genius, my channel, Pandrea, and I'm like, "Oh shit! I forgot that I've been on this that long. I forgot that I've been doing this that fucking long." Where people watched me as a child or watched me when they were, in their mid-teens, and now they're 19. So it's kind of odd that's something I've experienced doing videos on YouTube. It's a good thing ultimately. Let's see, what did Dan Rhodes reveal? I'm not sure. I believe it was some sort of product of Henry Harrius, who comes out with gold. I haven't seen anything bad that Henry Harrius has put out. I just saw a review on the Wizard Magic review. I was going to say Wizard product review, but I just saw them reviewed one of his products, which is tremendous. It's a fucking bottle. It's an appearing bottle, or disappearing bottle rather. But man, that guy just comes up with solid gold. Let me go through here. I'm sorry, guys. Ronan says maybe the problem is that people mandating these laws mostly don't have first-hand experience with the said substance. Talking about, of course, cigarettes, marijuana, and tobacco-related products from before. Not the case here in Canada. Legal weed knocks me on my ass. It's way better than the street stuff ever was. So I hear the opposite here in the 305 regarding marijuana use, in that government weed is shit and street weed is where you want to be. And I think I believe that. What do you think of YouTube street magicians? YouTube street magicians is depends, right? It could range from cringy or great. There's no, to me, it's like Mexican women. Like Mexican women are either 10s or 0s. Same thing with street magic videos on YouTube. They're either 10s and amazing videos or 0s. I've seen a lot of street magic videos on YouTube, right? My favorite ones tend to be from people like, I always forget his name, so I'm just going to refer to him as Christopher Walken, right? So I watch those a lot for the bits and the banter and the funniness, right? Who's that guy? Stands weird. He stands like Bill Paxton in Twister. I have to admit something, and I'm doing it here on this very successful stream. But on my Instagram, I believe a couple years ago, I talked about my love of a movie called Twister, right? And I love Twister, and I love the ride in Orlando. As a matter of fact, you could still see it there. It's my very first story on Instagram, and you could still see it there. It's immortalized, and it's regarding Twister the movie. And people had a problem with Twister, and people said it's a terrible movie. And I said, no, Twister is one of the best movies to ever come out. And I left a review there. You could watch it on my Instagram at PigCake69. And I defended Twister. Matthew Furman. There you go. Stands like Bill Paxton in fucking Twister, which is the funniest thing I've ever seen, as he awkwardly says to a participant, hey, would you like to see something? What? Okay. So I've turned around on Twister. Twister is the worst movie I think that has ever come out. And my opinion was skewed because I've been listening to old Opie and Anthony, which is a radio show that we used to have here in the States back in the day. And I'm hearing reruns. And one of them in particular caught me right before I fell asleep, and it was regarding Twister. And it was them talking about Twister and how bad of a movie it is. And I watched it again. I watched Twister again recently. And it's the worst movie. It's actually the worst movie to have ever come out. It's so cringy. The lines are terrible. The fucking acting is awful. Philip Seymour Hoffman is just the cringiest thing. Bill Paxton. Helen Hunt is hot, but she also is terrible in the fucking movie. Awful. Just the whole context. Oh, yeah, category 4 would blow your whole house off. And then she goes, what about a category 5? And just the mere statement of her saying category 5 tornado, like she just said the R word. Everybody just drops their shit and goes, what's going on? So Twister is probably one of the worst movies to ever come out. Oh, the tornado's coming. And then Bill Paxton looks to the camera and goes, no, it's already here. Terrible. Awful. The movie is 1990s porn, essentially. It's a blockbuster for the sense of a blockbuster without any substance. Holy shit. Manel says, whoa, sup peeps. Manel joining the stream pretty late. This is a late starting stream because I had lunch with a friend that I barely see. So I prioritize friendship over the stream. I apologize. Adite says, have you noticed anything in the channel growth recently? Any reason from a creator's perspective as to why it's plateauing? It's a lot of factors, right? And I could blame YouTube as much as I wanted. Say, oh, YouTube is holding the man down. YouTube's holding me down. No, I get it. The content is not for everybody, right? Luckily, one of the goals that I had, which is when I get to a certain point on my Patreon stuff, that I would care less about my YouTube videos in a sense of be a little bit more free-flowing with the type of content that I put on YouTube. And luckily I've been able to. I've been able, through Patreon and through other things, be a little bit more myself when it comes to the videos that I put on YouTube, and care a little bit less about what YouTube has to do in their back end. And I really don't care. I really don't care about the views and shit. I don't care. I would like ideally to get that silver play button, but only to destroy it. I want to get that silver play button to destroy it. Right? That's my goal. But I do also understand that I'm also to blame for that. I'm also to blame a lot for why the channel is not growing as much as it should, or as much as it could, especially now. I've been doing this. When did my channel start? Let's see. You can actually see it on YouTube. It tells you when you started the channel. Let me see when I could find the anniversary. It might even be today. Let's see. It's on the channel page. Let's see. Your channel. About... And it was, I started this channel June 30th of 2016. So 8 days away from, I believe, the 6-year anniversary of this channel. Right? And I don't know. I don't care. And I'm happy making content. Obviously, I want to grow on Patreon. I want to grow here. But my goal is to grow the academy. My goal is to make videos that I'm happy with, and I'm happy doing that. So as far as the growth of the channel, ideally I would like more viewers here because I would like to interact with more people and have a little bit more banter back and forth. I would like to have my content reach out to more people because I do think that certain groups of people would enjoy my content. But I'm content. I'm happy, right? You always want more. You always want to get more ideas on it. But I'm to blame. I'm to blame for. I would say I'm going to take blame for 80%. Of the way the channel is in terms of its growth, because obviously it's my content. It's the way that I'm putting it out, and sometimes people don't like that content. But I see it as I don't want to compromise on the way that I do things just for views. Like we're talking about Dan Rhodes and all these TikTok influencers earlier. I can do that. I mean, it doesn't require any skill magically. It really just requires the ability to put out content and churn it out. And I could put stuff on Facebook, and I could put stuff on TikTok, and I have enough props as they do. They just, do mindless content with magic props, and they get a lot of views and not really care about magic. But I would kill myself. I would hate that. I would absolutely detest my life. I do recall I was in England with a certain person. I don't want to mention them, but they're a very... high-profile influencer in the industry, and just seeing them like, oh, let me come up with content for this, and I have to think about what YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram are doing on the back end, and I have to, oh, look, I could use this for a video, and it's always thinking about how to satisfy the platform, right? And you're doing that obviously for the massive profit, because on Facebook especially, profits through the roof when it comes to any sort of content that gets a lot of eyes and a lot of attention. So it's not difficult to do that, and it's not difficult to make a lot of money. But I don't care. I'd rather be happy, man. I'd rather not give a fuck about, no, but I have to have these certain words used in the first 5 seconds. If not, and I had a shitty conversation with another influencer, another high profile influencer up there. And man, I just wanted to, that conversation was just fucking terrible. Just terrible because I could see their mindset. And obviously they're very successful, but at what cost? You're yeah, you're multimillionaire, but you're also a loser. Like, you're a loser. Like, at the end of the day, you're a fucking loser. But there's certain different priorities. My priority is to be happy with my content, and I'm very happy with my content. So I prefer that over growth. I love the PigCake Magic Academy. Just $5 a month gets you so many tutorials, says Magic of Esteban. Look at you, shilling for me. Wow. I appreciate that. I don't even have to shill my own channel. I just live and have people shill for me. Ryan Tricks is everywhere right now. Yeah. Ryan Tricks is he's a lot to deal with, to be honest. A person I met in England. Funny, but man, is he a lot to deal with. Oh boy, breath, you passed out. Like, it's just a lot. The energy's up there. But he was a fun guy to hang out with. He reminds me of certain friends that I have over here that are exaggerating of certain incidents. But overall, I think that he's level-headed. Believe it or not, he's a very funny dude. You might see him on Facebook and Instagram doing these sort of, oh, hey, watch this. But I think behind that, he's very funny. But I feel like if I had to deal with him for more than an hour, I would probably end up finding a bridge to jump off. I feel like an hour is my tolerance. But I could say the same of a lot of my current friends. Like, I'm like, oh, dude, yes, I would hang out with you, but an hour is way too much. So 50 minutes, and then I'm going to move on to something else. So pop up my shit. I think it might be also because I'm a little bit, not drunk, but I had a shitty beer with a lot of ABV. And then I had a shitty beer with little ABV, and I haven't eaten a lot. But I did work out. So my diet is up and down. So it might just be the liquor speaking. Chris Pessoa says, nice content. I say nice last name. I like that last name. There's a lot of sus sounds, which is interesting. Let's see. Hane says, real talk. I don't watch your tutorials, only your reactions and lives because you're funny, but card magic, not for me. See, there you go. That's fine. Shane says, watching tutorials is what got me back into Magic. I came across Pandrea's Turn Over Pass, led me to more Magicians. I bought Xavier's Pass, Ray's Rise, and Daniel Madison's Masterclass. I haven't really talked a lot to Madison. I feel like me and him might vibe, right? We might vibe, per se, but I haven't talked to him, and I think that's my fault. Maybe I should reach out to him and be like, hey, man, let's do something. Let's actually commit. I had a video with Pandrea that I shot all of my shit about 2 years ago, and I haven't come. He's been busy, I feel so. Or maybe he's ghosting me, but I've had that video there, like for. And then I have a video from 2017 with Todor, with my boy from I forgot where he's from. I don't know if it's New Zealand or Australia, but from Todor. I had a video with him. But that was my fault. I didn't edit that one. That one's my bad. But the other one is definitely Pandrea's fault. Madison stopped YouTube tutorials, and he is all subscription now. He's trying to make that bling, dog. He's trying to make that bling bling. I feel him. Right, doing stuff on the academy. But I don't watch Magic content on YouTube. I really don't. I don't tend to watch Magic stuff. I like to watch other stuff, tutorials. In regards to camera stuff, right? Political stuff, which, I mean, that's another can of worms, right? Maybe I should have a channel dedicated to that, PigCake plus politics. Wouldn't that be great? That definitely wouldn't lead to videos made at my expense. He's from New Zealand. Fun guy. Super sweet. We had a beef for 3 seconds. because I said that reaction channels are cancer and they don't take effort. And then he hit me back, and I like that. I like that back and forth. I like it when you overtly tell me you don't like me. I like that. I prefer that. Right? You made a video. I had a similar beef with James Brown, not the singer, with the magician, where I made fun of his title of professional opportunist, and he made a video making fun of me. I like that. That's what I prefer, that back and forth. But he did it as himself. He said, "Hey, Piggy, this is why I disagree with you. Not a pussy back end behavior, fake accounts, deleting comments, editing information, lying to friends, things like that." So I prefer it when you say it outright. And we now James Brown and me are very amicable. I met him in England. Sweetest guy, one of my favorite magicians. And Todor, I haven't talked to him in a while, but we had a very nice conversation when we did. Talked for a little bit. And a sweet guy. We disagreed. We came to a consensus, and that's the way people work. Hane says, all right, he says, are you libertarian? There you go. Are you libertarian? They're pro small government, no restrictive laws. More middle, right? Leaning on the side of things a little bit, but certain libertarian ideals that I possess, but more leaning this way, more so than this way, right? If you catch my drift. Will you ever go on You Flash, You Lose? I know for a fact you would be sick on it. You flash, you lose. Anything like that, I'm probably shit at. Anytime I've been in front of magicians that they're showing me their stuff. Antonio is one on Instagram. It's fucking tremendous. I can't pronounce his last name. Bourgois? I can't pronounce his last name. But I hate him because we've had a couple chats. And, you set up your camera, right? And when it comes to YouTube stuff, I'm sure if you've ever done it, you know what it's like, right? You're gonna do it. You're gonna look at the take, and if the take's not good, you're gonna redo it again. But when I'm chatting with someone like Antonio, who's doing very angle-sensitive shit, he nails it first time every time. He showed me this thing the other day with an index using the entire deck. He showed me this thing with a switch with one hand. He showed me this thing, and he didn't flash, and he's using a longitudinal Tenkai palm. And he's not flashing, but he's doing it live for me. It's not like I'm watching a video of him doing it. He showed me this fucking... I can't even mention what it is because I'm sure he's fucking selling it. But this thing that he says requires no gaffs, no gimmicks, and it works. And he says, you want to know how to do it? And I go, no. I told him, no, I don't want to know how that's fucking done because it's going to upset me. Because I'm here trying to... I think I'm creative. I think I'm good at magic. No, I'm not. I'm shit. So me on any show that involves flashing or doing or performing, I'm going to lose immediately, especially compared to what's out there. Let's see. Libertarian are the third biggest political party in the U.S. and looks like they'll be the biggest soon. That's always the case. People always believe that, but we've really set ourselves up as a two-party system here in the States. And unfortunately, even if there might be somebody that would be a libertarian spokesperson or somebody who would consider themselves to be a part of a middle ground party, it's never going to find as much success as joining one of the big ones, joining the right or left. So in the States, at least, you would want to have somebody that's more middle ground. But it's the way we've set it up here is that's not the case. It's always going to be right or left. You're going to have a certain small percentage in the middle. But unfortunately, the big blue and the big red are always going to be on top. You got to admit, though, Biden falling was legit hilarious. Maybe. I don't know. I just put the caption up because I saw it on the news. But it actually wasn't on my show notes. My show notes had... we had iPad Kids, Arabs again, which I already spoke about briefly, that I almost got scammed again. And I watched Buzz Lightyear drunk. So I watched Buzz Lightyear drunk as shit, and it was a terrible movie. And if I was sober, I probably would have walked out because of how bad the movie was. It felt like a trailer. It was an hour and a half of a trailer. I was very disappointed that they didn't get Tim Allen. That's the other one. If you're going to do a movie with that, get Tim Allen. Get Tom Hanks. Get the people that did it. Don't get Chris Evans. The fuck? The entire movie, I'm like, ah, great. Yeah, Captain America over here. So it took me out. Took me out, but the movie was shit. It was felt rushed the entire time. But I watched it hammered, which was quite a fun time. Because if you're ever in a movie theater hammered, you just get bored of the movie. I had a panic attack in the movie theater because of how bored I was. Right? I just literally stared at the screen and I felt like flushing and red. And I'm like, oh, you're going to die at some point in your life. And I had a panic attack out of how bored I was watching the movie and how drunk I was. That's not a good thing. You don't want to be that way. You want to enjoy the movie. So if you're thinking of watching that movie, don't watch it. It's pretty bad, pretty terrible, I would say. Buzz with booze. And it didn't help that I also got ID'd, by the way, because I bought the liquor from the movie theater, which was very offensive because she spent a little bit of time, more so than I was comfortable with, looking at my ID. So she was there looking at my ID like this. And I had the old version of the ID. Obviously, I'm not going to show it because I don't want my name out there, even though it's been out there. But she was just looking at it like, she goes, And I go, you want to quiz me? She goes, no. I'm like, you could quiz me if you want. And she goes, and she stared at it for a little bit longer than I felt comfortable with. I didn't like that shit. And I asked her, how many people come into the movie theater with fake IDs? She goes, you'd be surprised. Okay. That's not a number. I asked you how many people do it. Does it come often? Not an ambiguous thing. No byplay. I hate that. I hate it when you don't want to have back and forth and no byplay. Stu Batman says Tim Allen went to prison for smuggling cocaine. Yeah, he did. He did. That was a crime that he committed, I believe, in the late 80s, right? But let me tell you, I grew up with Home Improvement. That man was my father, where my father wasn't actually around. So Tim Allen was my quote-unquote father. There's one here. The vice president of the USA disappeared. Where is she? Haven't seen her in a while. Well, I mean, this is not a political channel, so I really can't get into the nitty-gritty, but I feel a certain placeholder, maybe more of a placeholder, more of a figurehead than an actual vice president. So that's on brand, honey. That's very on brand of her to not be appearing on anything or have anything relevant to say. Bipartisan. This is a very bipartisan channel. Let's just get that. But yeah, so I watched that movie Hammered, and it's definitely not one that you should watch. It's not one you should watch. It's pretty fucking bad. And if you are a fan of, I get it. It's a kid's movie, right? I went as a, they asked me, a group of friends, hey, you want to come and watch? I'm like, all right, whatever. But I'm going to go Hammered. And one of you has to pick me up. And they agreed. And that happened. Did you see the new Dragon Ball movie? Nope. I have not seen the Dragon Ball movie. Manel, I didn't know that there was a Dragon Ball movie. Was a picture on your ID taken before or after your face reveal? Yeah, that's funny. The picture that I have on my ID, which I cannot show here because I don't know how to show it without compromising. But it was taken after I passed my driver's test. My motorcycle's test, rather, I think. So I was very happy that I passed it. And I was a different person. I had short hair. I had a little mustache and a little flavor saver. So it's very different. I look different, but not different enough where it's obviously me, but it's a very different picture. Gutmuster Mike says, and Tim got a smaller sentence for snitching. Could you imagine being the dude that got snitched on watching Tim on TV, right? Oh, God. And he did it in a time where you could do anything. Oh, hey, you committed a crime? Just move states. Just cross the state line. Oh, you want to run away from the cops? Fuck. We had him in Florida, but now he's in Georgia. We can't find him anymore. So there's no excuse. Obviously, he got out the way he wanted to, which is snitching. But back then, you had stated income in the 60s, 70s, not 80s, but you still had stated income at that point. Oh, hey, how much did you make last year? About $70 million. Oh, okay, we'll just take your word for it based on how you look and how you're presenting yourself. Are you fucking dumb? So that was what I and I'm also every time I watch these crime documentaries, I feel like a basic bitch, one of these crime whores that you see on Instagram that they're like, I love real crime, which is worrisome that a lot of girls are into real crime as of late because, you're with them to some capacity and you wonder what's going through their minds when they're watching crime stuff all day, crime documentaries. But I'm watching a lot of crime documentaries as of late, and it's hysterical to see how many people got away with things in the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s just because they moved state lines, or just because, we have, for example, BTK. BTK was out here fucking and sucking and doing terrible things, leaving his DNA all over the place. When did they catch him? 2004? Because he decided to get a fucking floppy disk, and he trusted the police having their word that they couldn't track him from the floppy disk like an idiot. They didn't catch him by the merit of his crime, even though he left his DNA, his fingerprints, everything was there, right? But the guy just got away until he fell to being deceived by the police. So kind of terrible. So you could have done anything in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And I would say some portion of the 90s as well. Some portion of the 90s. Because now, look, every crime they could find. Oh, it turns out the perpetrator turned his phone off during the alleged time of the crime. So why did you have your phone off? Oh, I just turned it off. Yeah, but we see that your records, you don't turn your phone off ever until the time of the crime, and then you turn your phone off, and then you turned it back on. That's kind of odd. And also, we have cell phone trackers that put you, and your phone pinged the cell phone towers near the incident. What can you say about that? You said that you were in Florida, but these cell phone towers pinged you in Georgia. You don't even have to have your Wi-Fi on. You don't have to have your fucking Bluetooth on. They could just find this information. So if you're committing a crime in 2022, you're the R word. You're the R word. You are, sorry, wrong one. I hope that beep works. Does the beep gag work? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section if the beep gag works. That was genius how they found the deleted file. Yeah, it was a very engaging way that they caught him. He thought that the police and him had an amicable relationship, even after he murdered families violently. He thought that he was having a fun game with them, a fun back and forth, Dennis Rader. And what was terrible is that he said, hey, be honest with me. Can you guys track a fucking diskette? And they said, no, we can't track it. Okay, all right, well, I'm going to send you a diskette. Fuck, I need to change those. You should go back to the, because so yeah, production value here, my friends. Are you ever going to make another movie reaction? I still am out at the Now You See Me reaction videos. I do want to, but unfortunately, I don't want to have a panic attack at the anger that I would get watching Now You See Me 2. Now You See Me 2 would be a great one to do because it's a magic-related movie. It was mainstream. But that fucking scene with the card is enough for me to actually induce a heart attack. Where they're fucking doing the back and forth, and they're doing this thing, and then they hand it, and fucking Jesse Eisenberg is there being as fucking coy as he is, thinking that he's the hottest shit, doing all the fucking dumb manipulations. Let me ask you, in the movie, right? I've said this before. If you're going to do all this fanfare to hide the card, why are you going to throw it to the next person who's getting frisked? Why don't you hide the card on your person, wait for them to frisk you, and then hide the card back on your person? You don't need to throw it to Isla Fisher, or whatever the fuck her name is, 8.2, right? You don't have to throw it to her and have her do her stuff because they already frisked you. So now you're going to give it to her and have her get frisked with the card? Are you thick? Daniel Radcliffe plays a really good villain. I have several. Right now, I'm being triggered. I'm really triggered, but I'm triggered. Gutbuster Mike at any compliment given to that series of movies. I tried to give Now You See Me 2. I tried to do it. I remember I tried to do a reaction. I wanted to do it live. I wanted to play the movie and then have me there and record myself and then watch the movie and then just have my live reaction to the movie and then put that in, right? Put that in. Hey, y'all follow my SoundCloud. What up, Stefan, out here on the Discord. Why do you get notifications on Discord here? I don't know why I'm getting notifications. But Stefan says, hey, follow my SoundCloud. Be on the lookout. Stefan has a SoundCloud, which is it's not surprising. Is that Stefan? Are you here, Stefan? Because I saw that you linked on the Discord chat, but you didn't actually comment on the YouTube chat. Too many chats. Google has too many chats. But yeah, Now You See Me Too is an actual fucking, I'd rather get a root canal colonoscopy. And the other topic, I guess the last one, this has been a long show, an hour and 28 minutes. I've really been rambling here. iPad kids, iPhone kids. We're done as a society, my friends, and I'll tell you exactly why. I was in a grocery store yesterday, and I hear a police siren. I hear a fucking police siren, and I'm like, man, this police siren sounds like it's coming from inside of the store. What is this noise? I'm just hearing this rambling, this terrible sound. It's like a high-pitched, shitty, low-frequency police noise, like a woo! And I hear it get closer. And I'm in the laundry aisle looking for some spot remover. Because I'm a... Because I'm a... So I was looking for some spot remover for my shoes. I like to put spot remover in my shoes after every time I use them. Because I wear white shoes, pretty much. So I hear the thing getting louder and louder, and I realize what it is because they passed by the aisle that I was in. It was a child next to his mom with an iPad in full volume watching something. And he was like this with the iPad in front of his face, right? Just like this, listening to whatever the fuck he was watching. It had to have been, I don't know if this kid was special, right? He seemed very well functioning. Right, but he had just what was a police siren on a 15-minute loop on his iPad, and he had it in front of him as he was walking. Did he care about what was in front of him? No. Did he care that he was bumping into aisles? No. Did he care that there were other people in the aisle that he was or behind him? No. He was just on his iPad, just there. He might as well have been drooling. Might as well have been dead, to be honest. But he was there on his iPad, just there, looking through his shit. Not caring about anything surrounding him. iPad children are going to turn into adults at some point. They're going to turn into regular, ordinary, functioning people. Perhaps doctors. And imagine having this mentality of, oh, just shut up, listen to your iPad. Now, I'm not a father, right? So I really can't, I'm really speaking from the outside looking in. So if you're a father, if you're somebody that has kids that you give them an iPad, obviously you might have certain things like, yeah, listen, buddy, you try to take care of one for however long this is. So I get it, right? But just this mentality of, I'm not aware of anything of my surroundings. The only thing I'm focused on is on a fucking police siren compilation that I'm staring at. There's something problematic of that for the future of our race. And I do believe, I think Zuckerberg doesn't give anyone that he's related to iPads or something to do that. I remember reading that. I don't know the legitimacy of that. But I agree. I agree with that. No phones. If you're under the age of 8, you should not have an iPad. You should not have a phone. I know. It's almost very fascist of me to do that or want that for my offspring, my future offspring. But you're burning your mind, right? I'm an adult and I'm looking through my phone and I'm realizing that I'm burning my mind just there on TikTok, looking through thoughts and life hacks and funny videos. I'm like, oh, I snap out of them. Like, I got to be productive. I got to do something. So imagine these kids just out here, just not caring about anything, crossing the road with their iPad in their face. What? At least look up, right? Look up. Make sure. Look around. Make sure that you're good. And then I don't understand that. And the mom is even worse because she's just there like, look at your fucking iPad. Look at your iPad. I don't care that you're in a store. I don't care that we live in a society. To quote George Costanza, I don't give a shit. Have your iPad and have it be maximum volume. for everybody to hear what you're fucking listening to in the store. I'm like, ah. And then in the line, and then I get to the line, and the kid's in front of me with her fucking mom. And he's there again in the line, still hearing the same fucking compilation. I really did want to say something. But it's not my business if her son wants to be an iPad kid. That's the way she's raising her kid. I'm not going to be one of these Karens that's like, excuse me. Like, although you are impeding on my noise pollution. You are impeding on my ability to function. Because now I'm seething at the thoughts that I have. The illegal thoughts that I have for both of you. Right? Now I'm like, oh, great. I'm looking at the back of her neck like, just one fucking solid Mike Tyson is all it's gonna take. The iPads, put them down, right? Be better. Fuck, which is be better?
Be better.
Be better, right? What about the children who used to eat their shot? What are now chefs? Oh, eat their shit. Too much salt. Yeah, that is true, right? That is true. You take whatever traumas you had, whatever dumb things you did as a kid, you're now an adult with those things. And granted, yes, you do learn a lot of things as a kid, and you learn by trial by fire. But if you're always engaged on something, right? You're always going to be engaged on something. You're going to have no ability to function in any sort of real world situation. And I know it might sound like that old argument of, oh, you're going to play video games? You're never going to make money playing video games that your parents had in the 90s. And obviously now we have streamers making millions of dollars playing video games, right? It's not that. Those video game players are still multitasking. They still have to be aware of multiple things. They still have to have a certain skill set. Their skill set is, I have to set up a stream, which is not super easy. It's not hard. But you have to set it up, make sure the audio is working, the video looks good. You have to make sure the stream is good, the video game's active, the chat is there. Everything, there's little things, right? There's skill, video editing. But if you're a kid that you're just consuming and you're just engaging with this content, not caring about anything else, loudly in a public situation, that worries me. So iPad kids are going to be iPad adults. And you know what? I'm not for it. So if I'm ever president, if I'm ever riding a bike, and I trip and fall, right? And I say certain things that don't necessarily make sense. I'm going to make it a law that no iPads under 10 years old. No iPads or no phones under 10 years old. Or phones, flip phones. June bug phones. Those phones that you give old people are the only phones that you would give to your children. So phones that don't have YouTube. You could text. You could do that. You could call, but you can't consume on your device. That would be the law that I would have under 10, right? Mind you, we just had a whole conversation about cigarettes and how everything should be legal, but not iPads. iPads are more dangerous. It's scary because they will lack social interaction experience. Well, at that age, they're very open. Kids at that age, which is kind of wild, they're too open, right? So they'll come up to you and be like, hey, what's that? Right? And they'll just point at you and you'll be like, oh, that's a pig-shaped AirPod case, right? And they're just very open. But you lose that as you grow through puberty, which is kind of a shame because I wish we still had that ability to just go up to anyone and be like, what's that? You could do it, but you have the social stigma that you got to repress, whereas kids don't have that. But they're not even going to have the knowledge of what social engagement is if they're just like this all day, just looking at their shit. Hey, did you notice I got the pink iPhone, by the way? The pink one? Look at that. Everything's on brand, boy. Everything's on brand. The wallet, the pig phone case, the fucking pink phone. I'm on brand. I match with everything. So that means that I'm kind of a... That's the stream, guys. That's it. It was a little bit late today. I apologize for that. That's not going to happen often. It might happen next week, to be honest. Happen next week. I have a previous engagement, but I will do a stream next week, just later. So it'll probably be around much later, maybe 7 Eastern time in Pacific. But I enjoyed this particular chat we had. This was a longer stream. Maybe I might make this the huge. I think we had a lot of back and forth. We got good content. You got good content. You got a lot of good things from the stream. So thank you guys for watching. Be better. Be better. Don't be an iPad adult. That's my advice for the video. Don't be an iPad adult, right? Pay attention to your surroundings. Use your turn signal. All right? Be better. I need to fucking get Daniel's Stream Deck.
Be better. Be better.
You know what? I'm going to tell him that. Next time he comes by, I need a Stream Deck so I could actually put the fucking things as opposed to having them here. Like they're numbered. So 5, 6, I think is Discord. Yeah. 7 is Be Better.
Be better.
8 is Let's Go.
Okay.
9 is
Bing bong.
And then what's 5? Oh, 5 is the beep. Okay. And then 0 is the end of the show. So thank you guys.